Do it.
Do it.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the next OLC Live pre-conference town hall before OLC Accelerate in November. Welcome. We're so happy you're all able to be with us here today as we generate a little bit of excitement around some of the awesome things that are going to happen at OLC Accelerate.
Woo! Awesome.
Yeah. And we'll be Matt Romanowski on the OLC Live team is going to be live tweeting the hashtag OLC Live. We invite you to please share your Twitter handle in the chat so that Matt can quote you or mention you and so on, at mentions and whatnot. So everyone's putting their Twitter handles in the chat. That's fantastic. And what we aim to do with these town halls is bring people together before the actual event. You will see a few people, get to know their names, maybe their faces a little bit. And when you come to the event, you'll be a step ahead in terms of knowing a few things that you might not have known before. So we also are deputizing all the on-site folks.
Wow.
Yeah, we're officially deputizing the on-site folks. And really, today's session is a bit leaning toward the on-site folks. A lot of what we do for OLC Live is for the virtual folks, but we're going to be covering a lot of things that are going to happen really in Orlando. Not everything exclusively, but we're deputizing you folks that are on-site to be ambassadors to the people online by tweeting, with the hashtag OLC Accelerate or OLC Virtual, specifically for the virtual folks, and OLC Live for the things that we're doing. And you can also, as a participant on site in Orlando, you can also tune into OLC Live. So it's not exclusive to folks who are virtual. You can tune in from your hotel room, from the pool, or wherever you happen to be. And we've got a lot of fun stuff.
I want to do conferences the way you do conferences.
Exactly.
There's still time.
There's still time. There's still time, Kelvin. And our virtual folks, for the virtual folks, OLC Live is going to have a bunch of things go on. Some salons so you can cogitate, escape rooms so you can escape, compete in design battles. And we need folks to sign up for these via the RSP link on the OLC Live webpage, on the Accelerate webpage. If you haven't RSVP'd yet, we invite you to come along for the virtual design battle, as well as the virtual annotate-a-thon ideating for the International Online Summit about openness. But with that, I think it's about time to introduce our special guest today,
Wow.
who you all know from the Topcast podcast. And from UCF, it's Dr. Kelvin Thompson. Let's hear it.
Yay! All right.
Woo! That was where the actual applause sound effect was going to be inserted. Yeah, perfect. How long has Topcast been going around there, Kelvin?
We have 4 years behind us. We are in our 5th year, but hey, we're kind of slow, like that clap. We're kind of slow, so we only release one episode a month. So I was looking at a podcast the other day that is, I think they're just in their 2nd season, and I think they're around the same number of, maybe a little bit ahead of us in terms of total number of episodes. I'm like, what you gonna do? So we try to make 12 really good episodes a year, one a month. So we're at the current episode is number 53. So that tells you a little bit of where we are. But that means that at this point, you could just listen to one a week if you were starting, and you'd be covered for a year.
Awesome. Well,
Isn't that nice?
We are super stoked to have you with us, Kelvin, and invite everyone to check out the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for that. Topcast.online.ucf.edu.
There you go. We just want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, to keep your microphones muted whenever you're not speaking, so that can help our sound be as great as possible. And with that, we're going to roll right into number 10.
Well, I mean, we got to tell people what we're doing, Clark. So we thought we would do like this top 10 list thing, right? So we've got to do top 10 things not to miss at OLC. And so Clark, I'm going to put on the spot because he's got to do a musical interlude now. Clark?
Oh, I was going to do a musical interlude now?
No, I don't know. I'm just going to say it.
Oh.
We were talking before, like, what would Clark's job be? Clark would be basically like Paul Schaefer. So I'm just waiting for just random musical riffs. I thought I was going to just kind of throw that to you, and you just kind of go. There you go. Now, see, that was great. That was awesome. And Angela, we're gonna switch universes, and we're gonna call Angela like Gelman from Live with whoever's doing Live these days. With back in the day, it was like Regis and various people, but now it's Kelly and Ryan, Michael, Clark, something, I don't know, somebody else. So you got Angela, who's got like basically Gelman. We're just gonna like anything we don't know, we're just gonna throw to Angela, and she'll make answers. Isn't that right, Angela?
I thought I wasn't supposed to talk, so
okay,
maybe I
good.
should.
That's enough of you. Okay, that's good. We're just gonna blame you for anything, possibly throw things to you, just stuff like that. All right. So it's gonna be random completely. Just hold on, buckle up. It'll be all right. So yes, Letterman-esque, not as good because that's. Because I'm the one calling out the numbers, and so it's already gone off the rails. So that gives you something. So the top 10 things not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019. We're going to start with number 10. Number 10 thing not to miss is what? The closing ceremony. The closing ceremony. Clark, when he does conferences, shows up for the first session and is at the pool for the rest of the time, occasionally checking OLC Live from his tablet, as we have true disclosure learned just a few minutes ago. But the primo people go all the way to the closing ceremony, not to the bitter end, but to the sweet end. Look at the photos there. Those of you who can see those mimosas, they pass out chocolates and mimosas. That's pretty sweet as an ending. And as folks who have instructional design in their community, we know the whole idea of backward design, right? We start with the end in mind, and so at the end of several days of ideas, connections, experiences, conversations, probably too much sugar and caffeine, you're going to need a mimosa and some chocolate and some vintage games. And it's like a celebration of learning, pulls it all together, culmination, all that good constructivist stuff that we know about. So maybe, do we have Megan on the line already who can speak up? We have, for each of these, maybe somebody who can speak up on a little bit more knowledgeably on the, go in depth on the particular thing.
It's Gelman here. Megan is not yet on the line, but we will
What's up, Gelman?
I was just looking, but I can tell you as I'm on the closing ceremony committee that there's going to be music, there's going to be there are going to be games, like some really fun, like old school games and stuff, like Twister, I believe. This type of thing. Maybe the biggest Jenga game you've ever seen in your life. I'm not sure. Wow. But and then there's going to be some improv. It's going to be everything you ever wanted in a closing ceremony, basically. It's definitely worth rebooking your flight if you have to. Book it later.
That is a legit thing. I have a colleague who gets up at dawn on the last day of whatever conference there is, and gone in 60 seconds. This isn't like that, right? So you want to stick around all the way to the very sweet end of it. Anybody who has been to the closing ceremony want to talk about how good it is, who has no vested interest in it other than just speaking about it?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Doug Geyer, who's the co-chair of the program committee with Megan, and perhaps has a little bit to chime in. I'm putting him on the spot, but Doug is great. So improv, Doug.
All right, improv. Yes, I just wrote in the chat box, and I think it sums it up. It's the closing ceremony at a whole new level. So for me, and I think for a lot of you, if you've been, it's always a great time just to kind of exhale and enjoy everyone's company and celebrate a great conference and reacquainting with people. But this time around, there's going to be, as Clark mentioned, some activity, some games, some improv, and I think it's going to be an exciting and meaningful time for everyone. We're going to centralize the improv around some of the themes of the conference as well, so it'll be a good way to wrap up a good conference week, I think.
Yep, and as they're mentioning in the chat, it's 12:30 p.m. on Friday. Great opportunity to celebrate each other, celebrate all the community and the learning and the everything that's going on that week. So great way to close things off.
It is worth it.
Yeah,
It's worth it. Worth going to. All right. Are we ready to keep on going?
let's get number 9.
Number 9 of the top 10 things not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019. Number 9 is the Speed Networking Lounge.
There we
Speed
go.
Networking Lounge. Because hey, why network slowly? Because that, that's just a waste of time. So like the little hummingbirds on the screen, how quickly can you meet how many people? That's not exactly it. Networking should be as simple as asking for directions, although I don't find asking for directions to be that simple. But it should also be as refreshing as sharing a drink and a snack, and as engaging as playing a board game. But what if we gave you a chance, a place, an opportunity to do all of those things? We do. So during networking breaks, you can head to the exhibit hall to Snack Chat. Snack Chat? Is that an app? Snack Chat?
That's a great new app idea.
That's a good new app. Game, connect, and we'll even give you prizes if you do. So who do we have? We have anybody? Kathy Russell, Sarah Clark.
Clark is on the line.
Yep, Sarah here. So stop by the Speed Networking Lounge during the breaks that are noted on the slide. So Wednesday, the 20th from 3 to 3:45, Thursday, the 21st, 10:30 to 11:15, and Thursday again from 2 to 3. In addition to the on-ground Speed Networking Lounge, we're also offering a virtual Speed Networking Lounge. So if you want to come meet me and chit chat and meet other people, then there will be a Zoom room dedicated for that. And you can do some virtual mingling, and we're going to have a couple different guest speakers providing like a discussion and like QA sesh, and you can also win e-gift cards. So it's going to be super awesome, online and on ground.
Online and on ground. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's during those networking breaks, so there's always lovely snacks and drinks and so many people milling about. It's great energy.
That's awesome. Number 8, the top 10 not to miss at OLC Accelerate. Number 8 is the escape rooms. Yes, you noticed it. I said rooms, not just one room, but escape rooms. So when you feel a little lost because of the whole conference experience, your brain's like frying, all your synapses are burning up, nothing better to lean in on the pressure or the challenge of an escape. I'm looking to escape all the time, it seems like. So coming back for another round, master escape room artist Maddie Shelgren has helped to design not one, not even 2, but 3 escape room experiences for people at the conference. But here's the cool thing, especially maybe if you are tuning into this after the fact and you're going to be a virtual participant, there is actually a virtual special online escape room on Thursday as part of OLC Live. So here with a little bit more information about the escape rooms is
Maddie Shelgren.
That was a very unnecessary welcome, but thank you both. Yes, so I'll be quick, and you'll also be hearing from me on this next one as well, so I apologize about taking some time here. But yeah, the escape rooms are super fun. I provided more text in the slides just in case you are following along with the recording afterwards and we're not given the slides, so I apologize for those long links there. But escape room, this is, if you've never been to one, think about we're gonna throw you into a semi-locked space for 30 minutes with other folks at the conference. Some might be strangers, some might be who you decide to tag along with. We're gonna challenge you with some really fun, gameful puzzles that you actually have to go through. But unlike escape rooms that you might go to, let's say in the city or where you're traveling somewhere, these are educational technology in focus. So they are about learning as much as they are about fun. So it's unlike any escape room I've ever had the opportunity to participate in. And one of the reasons why I think it is such a fascinating thing to participate in at the conference. And one of the things I'll iterate is the OLC, if you have not noticed, we're a fun group of people. And so I'd expect nothing else from the conference except something as fun, as different, and as exciting as an escape room. In the slide there, I have linked the sign up. You can officially sign up now. We already have someone, so that's one less spot. You better get on it quick.
Uh-oh.
2 is if you want to read more about the escape room, what it is, or dive into the story, I dropped that link there as well as testimonials. So we do have some fun testimonials of folks who did it their very first year. So feel free to hop on that Flipgrid page and listen to those as you like. Can you hit me with that next slide?
Hit me with the next slide.
So this one is our story for this year. And so I'll go ahead, and just give you the sneak peek. Hold on, gotta get in character.
Uh-oh. What a budget for special effects we have. It's amazing.
Stardate 11-19-2269. Welcome back from your deep sleep. Accelerate 25 space crew. You've just woken up from cryosleep. I know it is common to be confused after deep sleep, so I prepared a recording to remind you of your mission. Hold on while I pull up the transmission. Beep, boop, beep, beep. Good to see you, crew. I hope the Accelerate 25 is holding up well for you. We gave you the best ship in the fleet, but we know space travel is not always predictable. You're on the way to Omicron Lypra Crinitune System, or OLC for short. Still the future of our society. So I just wanted to give you all a sneak peek about the story. You will be engrossed in the story and have to work with others to solve some puzzles and escape or die.
I don't want to die. Can we just escape? That would be preferential, I think. But that's awesome.
And you do win prizes.
Oh, and prizes.
Prizes.
That is cool. Is the online escape room as cool as
100%?
100%. 100%.
Out of this world.
Out
unintended.
of this world. I see what you did there. That's good, Maddie. That sounds fun. My favorite quip about escape rooms, Whitney Kilgore tweeted out a while back. Anybody have any really good learning activities about escape rooms? And I was in one of those moods and hadn't had my coffee finished yet, and I just tweeted back, aren't all courses escape rooms?
That's right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It was funnier at the time. That's all right. That's okay. But I liked the part that you told us. All right. So anybody have a testimonial about escape rooms? We're really kind of running a little bit out of our allocated time for number 8, but I'd love to hear somebody who said, "Oh, I never knew what an escape room was, but it was amazing." Anybody got a story like that?
Can I give a shout out, and I'm gonna let Nate talk if he wants to talk, but we attempted to escape and we had a full team, and then the closing ceremonies happened and half of our team escaped off of the mountain that we were on, and Nate and I froze to death. But I feel good about our teamwork that we completed before we died unceremoniously in Denver.
That's depressing.
I mean, we did great work. He did some light data entry, and then we froze. The end.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. All right. But you live to tell the tale? I don't know. All right. Top 10 things not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019, number 7. Number 7, the world famous, legendary, not to be missed Technology Test Kitchen, or TTK for short. Cooking up a bunch of cool stuff. Standing on the shoulders of giants. The creation of Felice Banner, Frank Thompson, and Clark Shaw Nelson. This year has the brilliant, as you've already seen, Maddie Shelgren and Adam Davey, architects of awesome, building myriad ways for people to connect with technology and approaches for building, get ready, Clark, classroom experiences of the future. Future. Can't wait for that. Can't wait. So Maddie or Adam or both at the same time, like Clark and me, anything you want to say about the Technology Test Kitchen for folks who might not know how awesome it actually is going to be?
So this is Adam.
Yeah, good. Go for it.
Awesome. So the TTK this year is going to take us to new heights, both literally and figuratively, as we venture into space.
Oh.
And you will have an opportunity to become a galactic pathfinder and complete the missions and take that back to your home institution and show off your galactic pathfinder badge. So we will have all kinds of cool activities and fun tasks related to engagement and assessment and professional development, and you'll be in space. So there might even be a claw machine and some astronaut ice cream, perhaps.
Claw!
Yes, exactly. So it'll be fun. Come check us out. We'll be there. It'll be awesome. Become a Pathfinder.
That's cool. Maddie, anything you want to add to that? It's hard to top that.
I will just do a huge shout out to Chris, who is actually to Adam's right in the room, who is one of our master chefs. So you get a sneak peek into one of the awesome educational technology experts that we'll have local to the space at the conference.
I'll tell you what, I am always one to appreciate a good metaphor, possibly even a bad metaphor or two. And I tell you one thing that's occurred to me over the years. We're not short on the metaphors when we have OLC Accelerate. We've got kitchens and we got space and we got all kinds of stuff, and that just keeps you awake. That and the coffee keep you awake. Anybody who has had a particularly wonderful experience with the Technology Test Kitchen who'd like to speak up?
And while you're unmuting your mics, I'll just mention, it says here it's in the exhibit hall. And if anybody's never been before or doesn't know, the exhibit hall will be down the escalator, big, massive hall. You won't be able to miss it. It's almost smack dab in the middle, I believe. Is that right, Maddie, again this year? Kind of. And lots of curtains and stuff, and it's a big space. Where's
I
it going
thought
to
I'd
be?
mention, going on what Clark said, that based on if you've never been part of the TTK before, or you're new to the conference, or you just walk by and you're like, what are those people doing in there? There's so much going on at the TTK. There's different sessions, there's different little activities, there's different areas. So do not think it's just one thing. The idea being that it's a space for design, it's a space for exploration, not to be too punny with space. It's a space for that collaborative nature. One of the things I've loved about the TTK is when people come in and they learn something, because they were just wandering in, or that they had a question about something they are dealing with in design or with technology or just any part of e-learning, and they come in and ask the master chefs and the experts, or they just participate in something fun. So there's so many different things, and just sometimes people go into the TTK and just sit back and absorb it, and it's a great place to just be. And so I just hope that people who haven't been there before do come, and if you have been there before or participated or been a chef, I hope that you bring a friend.
That's a good testimonial. Angela Gibson, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful testimony. That's great. All righty, we're getting close to halfway. We're not quite halfway yet. There's so much wonderful stuff. Top 10 things not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019. Number 6. The field guides. You're lost. Can't figure out where the coffee is. You ask me. Well, no. You don't. Well, you could. But no, you really want to find somebody who knows where it is. The bathrooms, I hope that's not you. You can't get, where's my session? You got to get oriented to the conference. Figure out, like, even this stuff. Like, what's the stuff not to miss here? We have experts in pith helmets or some kind of hats or
Scarves or something.
Scarves or board shorts. I don't know. Possibly mosquito netting. I'm not sure, but they're going to be walking around, obviously visually standing out from the rest, and they're there to help you. So you might even check out the field guide talkabouts, which is a good way to meet other conference goers. And, who doesn't love the chance to talk about a specific topic of interest while getting fresh air? We need more of that in the conference environment. So, that we talk about artificial intelligence, these are actually intelligent folks. They know stuff and they would be happy to help you. So we have Tori here on the call somewhere. I think I saw in the long list of people. So Tori Wynn, you want to tell us a little bit more about the field guides?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kelvin. So my name is Tori Wynn, and I'm one of the people that are working with the field guides this year at the conference. We have a bunch of exciting things going on and opportunities for you to connect with other conference goers throughout your time at the conference. One of the things that you guys can do with us is take a tour of the conference space to get to know a little bit more about the convention center. We'll give you some tips on where to find the bathroom, as you said, Kelvin, or also maybe the best places to find a free snack or get a drink with your colleagues. We also have a new event this year called the Power Hour, which is starting first thing on Wednesday morning. It's a dedicated time with some breakfast for you to sit down with your colleagues or peers and organize how you'll tackle all of those excellent sessions that are going on throughout the conference. So we've set aside a dedicated hour for you to identify your favorite things, the things you want to see. Maybe a good chance for you to divide and conquer some topics alongside others who are attending the conference with you. We also do offer a free luncheon with the field guides on Wednesday at 12 p.m. You do have to sign up for the field guide program in order to attend, but if you want a free lunch, this is definitely the best opportunity to do that.
That's an insider pro tip there.
Yes,
that's good.
exactly.
Free lunch. I like that.
Those field guides are full of insider tips. So if you guys ever have any questions about the conference or things to do or people to meet with, please feel free to reach out to us before the conference or during the conference. We have our own dedicated Slack channel, which you are more than welcome to add to and participate in. And we will also have a dedicated table sort of near where the registration table is at the conference. You guys can come by, say hello, and maybe grab a piece of candy.
Cool. What a recommendation. Anybody encountered one of these field guides out in the wild and benefited, lived to tell the tale, unlike Angela Gunder, who died on a mountain somewhere as a result of Maddie Shelgren's design work? Anybody have a field guide experience that you would like to talk about? It's okay, because if you don't, you can get one at OLC Accelerate 2019. Love to, yeah, see, candy. There's candy, all kinds of incentives. Free lunch. I was down with the free lunch. Clark, any musical interludes, riffs you want to?
Feel good.
I did ask for it. That is awesome.
I just want to mention. I just want to second that. It's a great opportunity, especially if it's your first time at the conference. If you're new, if you haven't been for a few years, to find your way around. There are so many restaurants available there, and the different levels of restaurants and so on, and finding people, networking, and so on. The Field Guides is just an amazing resource for people to utilize to help, even to help pick sessions, because there are so many sessions at the same time happening a lot of times. They just have so much insight and so much experience to help you find your way around. And really, there's no reason to be lost, because the field guides are there as a fantastic resource. The other thing is the Slack channel. I'll put a big plug in for that if people haven't joined it. Definitely recommend joining the Slack team. I believe the join link is on the Field Guides webpage. There are different channels in there. You can chat about different topics. You can chat about sessions you're in. You can try to have meetups with people that you've met on Twitter or somewhere else. And it's a good way to really be in contact with people and do some more digital networking before, during, and after the conference, really. So that's open to everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good extra plug there, Clark. Appreciating that. Well, believe it or not, we're at the halfway mark. Top 10 things not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019. Number five. Yoga and the sanctuary. What is this? A resort? I mean, what kind of a conference experience is this? Believe it or not, you know, you need some downtime, right? Your brain's buzzing. They're giving you candy and free lunch and coffee. You're gonna need to just kind of, you know, just kind of scale back a little bit, let the ideas kind of simmer down, the knowledge, all that stuff. You could start your morning off with a refreshing, recharging yoga session at 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. And or you could have some meditation in the sanctuary from 7:45 to 8:15. There's a nice, slow, easy start to your conference experience. So the sanctuary, quiet place to recharge, open all day, features comfy chairs, meditation cushions, an opportunity to quiet the mind. Because maybe I was just talking to you and you're like, I need some space, and I don't want to be on an outpost with Maddie Shelgren's death-inducing escape room. I just don't want to be left out in the cold where they can't hear you scream. So you could go to the sanctuary and actually just kind of recharge your body and maybe your phone even too. So do we have either Janet Smith or, you know, failing that, possibly Clark, who could tell us a little bit more about the sanctuary and the yoga experience?
Yeah, so this is Janet. I am here and I'm really excited to have the sanctuary and yoga going on again at Accelerate 19. At the sanctuary, you can also get fruit-infused water, herbal tea. There is adult coloring books. There is all kinds of wonderful sensory things to do. There's chocolate. It's fantastic. So if you have not already sensed, this can be a boisterous event and a lively crew of people. So if you are in need of stepping away from that, and you are not up all night partying at Disney, you can join me for yoga in the morning. And if you can't make it for yoga, you can have your own little moment of namaste in the sanctuary throughout the conference.
Hey, what about,
lovely.
Janet, I have a question. So for folks who are thinking, oh, I've never done yoga before, I don't have a yoga mat, that type of thing, like what can they expect?
I had some yogurt once. Is that the same thing?
No, no, it's not. Okay. Thank you, though. Thank you for
I've
that
always
question.
wondered about that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you need to come to yoga and check it out. You do not need a mat. Most folks show up and do not have a mat. We have some towels and things, but it's mostly going to be floor-based, very slow, very chill. If you have ever stretched your body, you can do this yoga practice.
Okay, that sounds cool.
And I'll put a plug in for the sanctuary as well. You can recharge your phones in there as well as your body. There's a phone charging station, so enjoy.
That's kind of awesome. I'll be honest with you. I've peeked into the sanctuary at a couple of these events, and I was kind of scared to go in because I thought I'd probably get thrown out. But so I didn't want to really rock anybody's, you know, nice, cool zone. But you know, I could use some of that sometime too. So I think it's awesome. I think it's a cool thing to do. Yeah, and that is a good note there as well, Tori, in the chat. As an introvert that is good at extroverting, yoga is an awesome way to have some quiet time during a week of absolute craziness. Highly recommended. So that is awesome. Believe it or not, we are past the halfway mark. We are coming down the home stretch. We're in the final turn. We're coming down, and we are at number 4 of the top 10 things not to miss. Can you believe that there's this many things not to miss at OLC Accelerate? Number 4 is the passport. Now, this is meta. I know, just follow me here. Passport. It's not because you're going to get on the plane and go home. That may be, but we have this meta experience where all this collaboration's going on. We've talked about all kind of collaborative things, but the OLC Mission Passport Challenge brings together the Speed Networking Lounge that we've talked about, the Technology Test Kitchen that we've talked about, the Field Guide program that we've talked about, and brings it all together through themed interactive challenges. So you could grab a passport, not a trashport. That's a whole different thing. A passport to track your progress, level up, and compete for prizes. Again, I'm a little bit worried about the, overt emphasis on competition and battle. But apart from that, the prizes do sound like they might be motivating. So each level of the passport includes an opportunity to engage, learn, and, win. So win. So I believe the ever popular Maddie Shelgren might have something to do with this and might have something to say about it. Maddie?
Yes, and I would just actually typing in there yes, so super exciting. While this might all sound like competition, actually this is mostly all about growth and about encouraging all to go to those 3 experiences. So decreasing and spending a little bit more intentional time, making sure that you can network, you can engage in field guides, and you can come to the TTK, and that you're not, in a sense, competing. Let's say the only competition you have to worry about is in your own schedule to try to get to all of these top 10.
Oh, that's good. That's nicely done.
The whole idea behind number 4 here is to help you accomplish that goal by getting to all 3 of our spaces, while still, yes, having the opportunity and the potential of maybe walking out with some really sweet prizes. So, yeah.
How sweet are the prizes, Maddie?
So amazing that I don't actually know what they all are exactly yet, but they'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Woo! Yes, mystery prizes, but they're going to be good because, hey, after all, this is the conference that gives you mimosas when you're done. So how bad is it going to be? I mean, that's a good deal, right?
And as Maddie said, this is like bringing the TTK and the field guides and the speed networking all together in a way that hasn't been done before. So this is very exciting stuff.
We're groundbreaking, barrier smushing, dimensional transcending passport meta experience.
Intergalactic.
It's something. I need a TARDIS just to show up. I'm pretty sure. It's a Doctor Who reference there. I don't even know why we're talking about the Beastie Boys, Gelman.
Intergalactic planetary. Oh, sorry.
Oh, is that
okay.
Number 3.
Oops. The slides got out of control there for a second.
It's all interdimensional. So the third top thing not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019 is the Idea Luncheon, right? The Idea Luncheon, not just a luncheon in which you're going to get ideas, but idea as in IDEA, right? Inclusion, diversity, equity, and advocacy, a big emphasis in the OLC community over this last year. The conference offers multiple ways to connect and collaborate over shared challenges, and you'll hear lots about those 4 themes. But in the luncheon, yes, it's going to cost you a little bit of dollars, but that's a good thing because all the proceeds from the luncheon go toward the IDEA Leadership Scholarship Fund. And this year it features a Q&A with Dr. Melissa Vito on Seeing the Invisible, a conversation on dimensions of diversity in leadership. So you can purchase the tickets on the OLC Accelerate website. But Angela, why don't you tell us why we shouldn't miss the IDEA Luncheon?
Absolutely. I feel like we've felt all of the feels. We've had all of the dimensions of emotion on this webinar today. So I'm going to present to you the dimension of advocacy. This started out as a complete and total grassroots movement where folks were having dinner together and talking about how to support emerging leaders, how to create pathways for success within our field. And it broadened into these beautiful conversations about equity, inclusion, advocacy, and diversity, which if you can figure out the letters that start all of those words, that's sort of how IDEA was born. And this year, yet another event where we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Last year, we had Mary Nemec, Patsy Moskal, and Liz Chaboki on a panel, which was so fantastic. I was thrilled to be a part of it. And we're continuing those conversations with Melissa Vito, which is going to be exciting. We're going to be raising money for the scholarship yet again. And for those that don't know what that is, it's for people that are at institutions that can't afford to send somebody to the conference. We're actually funding them so that they can be there in person and participate fully and bring back all of the goodness that we're talking about today to their home institutions. But if that's not enough, we are doing an amazing networking activity that involves invisible ink as part of Seeing the Invisible, and that's all I'm going to leave you with. But if you want to stay and play and discover some really interesting things about people around you and leave feeling pretty good about the world, I would highly recommend that you come, knowing that your participation in the luncheon is paying it forward to another future colleague and friend.
And if people didn't sign up for tickets for that already when they registered, they can still do it all the way up right to the event, right?
Absolutely. So we definitely encourage you to sign up early enough because of the space, just so that we have space in the room. With each passing year, we get more and more people coming, which is a fantastic problem to have. But if you have a little time before the conference, definitely sign up. However, if you forget to do that, or more importantly, if you meet somebody at the conference that didn't know about it, you can say, hey, do you want to join me for lunch? And they can just pay at the door too. That's my favorite thing. Rope somebody else into your awesomeness.
And once again, it's Thursday lunch, right? Right around
Thursday lunch. It'll be your warm up for the virtual escape room that Maddie and I are helping to lead with a bunch of other folks, which, by the way, it's for the OLC Live virtual audience. But if you're there at the physical conference, you can participate in it too. We are all about inclusion.
I see what you did there. That is awesome. That is good. Idea luncheon. That's quite good. I love. I think the favorite. No offense to any of the rest of you on the call or any other names that were mentioned, but I think the favorite photo that I've got on this idea luncheon slide is Liz Chaboki's face on here. That is just like one excited look on her face there. That is awesome. And I would be remiss if I didn't make a shameless plug. Clark was so generous to talk about Topcast, the Teaching Online podcast at the beginning of this session. And Liz is our guest on the current episode of Topcast called A Sobering Conversation About Diversity Among Leaders of Online Learning. And releasing in just a week or so the previously embargoed 30-minute Q&A with Liz in front of the IELOL 2019 cohort on related topics will be up on the website here in a week or so. So that's just going to warm you up for that idea luncheon. So go ahead and save your pennies now and go buy a ticket. Bring a friend. Okay, Clark, we're getting down the home stretch now.
We are getting down there.
Number two, the second most, don't want to miss it, top 10 things at OLC Accelerate. Number 2 is...
Let it go, let it go. Oh, sorry.
Walt Disney World Resort itself. After all, you're right there on property. And you know what? It's just a hop, skip, and an oh boy down the street to get to one of 4 worlds, the Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, formerly known as the Environmental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, or Disney Hollywood Studios, formerly known as Disney MGM Studios. All kinds of 4 worlds. How you gonna do that? You could even have like Christmas holidays a little early with Mickey Mouse there. So you have this great but fatiguing, mentally exhausting, engaging time at the conference, and you're like, man, I just want to look like Clark. I just want to let it go and have some fun. You could go to one of these Disney parks. So you can get discounted tickets, right? You can even if you want to save money, you're frugal. Right, I know you are. You're frugal. You don't want to spend money for tickets to a special event or one of the parks. You can go to Disney Springs. That costs you nothing. You can just go right over to Disney Springs. You can walk around. Everything's themed beautifully. They've got nice places to eat. And hey, there's people from around the world. You can sit there and watch them, and that's pretty entertaining. You see that guy in the right side of the screen there in front of the castle. You see more people like that. Their minds are blown as they're walking around Disney. That's fun, just watching that part. as well. So whatever your speed, there's something going on at the Walt Disney World Resort. I think I saw Christine log in earlier. Christine or somebody else want to tell us a little bit more about the opportunities for engaging at Disney World during the conference?
Christine, our local Disney expert. She was here.
I saw her log
No
in.
longer with us. Did we lose our Chris? Wait, she's still here, but she's muted. Can we get?
She's telling us all kinds of really good insider details about Disney World, but sadly we're not hearing it because she's muted, maybe.
Well, and one thing to keep in mind is Christine, well, she's all over the conference. You can always find her. And you can also find her through the field guides. Oh, wrong Christine.
Oh! I don't know anything about what's going on at Disney. Quit asking me. Quit asking me.
But Christine has probably been doing, I mean, how many years has this been going on? She's been 25, however many years she's been down there. She's an expert tour guide and she takes folks on tours, like takes them around the park, knows exactly where to go, how to get there, how to get in line and so on. And she's an excellent resource. Also, there's usually a channel for that in Slack specifically for Disney. So
see, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
If you can't find Christine, you can usually get to her through that, and then you can make plans to meet up and so on. So really great resource there too.
And if you run across one of the other Orlando locals from UCF or Seminole State College or one of the other institutions around the greater Central Florida area, I bet you'll find somebody who has one or two tips that they might share with you, as long as you don't tell too many people. Make the most out of your experience. I think I saw John Stewart on here earlier. Now I know for a fact John has been dragged around Disney by his mother-in-law and his daughter. If John's still here, anything you want to say about how wonderful that experience is?
Yeah, that was awesome. So this past year, my mother-in-law and daughter came down to Orlando with me, and they spent the entire conference in the parks. And then I would go join them when we were done each day. And normally Angela Gunder would join us at least a couple times. And my daughter decided that she wanted to be adopted by Angela at some point. There's one worry and concern, but otherwise, great experience.
That's awesome. It's not everybody's thing, but I tend to enjoy Disney in all of its splendor. And if you wanted, I don't know if you know this, Star Wars Land is open now in Hollywood Studios. I went on a preview evening, and it's something. Where else are you going to get to talk to a Wookiee? I mean, seriously, you get to bypass some TIE fighters. You might run into a Dark Lord of the Sith. Things happen, but you can stay. What's Star Wars? Okay, you're dead to me now, Jonathan. Dead to me. That's okay. So it'll be a lot of fun. But believe it or not, we are down to the number one thing not to miss at the 2019 OLC Accelerate Conference. The first and foremost thing is informal networking, the actual networking with people, the actual stuff that happens interstitially between all the formal stuff. It's the people connection. It's awesome. We have such a list. I cannot even tell you how long this list is of stuff that those of us who are planning this session came up with, of stuff that we've all personally found meaningful. So maybe Angela Gelman Gunder, Clark Shaw Nelson, Charles Nelson Riley, one of the other three named people on the call today might share just maybe one of their favorite little networking tips. I'll give you one. I'll give you mine just to start off with. I mean, mine's not rocket science, right? It's not the most brilliant, but believe it or not, the idea of actually bring some of your business cards. They gave them to you anyway at your institution, right? So you might as well bring some of them. And when you have an opportunity to engage with another human there and you enjoyed that, hey, let me just give you my business card here and watch this. Here's a little pro tip. You were talking about something and you want to follow up, you can just write on the back of it what it was that you engaged so much with and you enjoyed there, or something that the person said they were going to send you, or something, some kind of a point of connection. Hand that to them. Or if you collect their business card, you write on it on the back something that you remember about that conversation you wanted to follow up with them on. And then when you get home, actually connect, actually write the person or call them or something. That's awesome. I'm curious, what are some of the other things that some of you have found that is just like, hey, a real human connection? Here's a little tip. What do you got? Angela Gunder, Clark Shaw Nelson, somebody else?
I was like, I'm ready to go, but then our group is having a whole conversation about It's a Small World, and
it is a small world after all.
Hippo with a wonky eye that will change your perspective on that ride and the world. But go with Angela Gunder on A Small World. Her joy is infectious on that ride in every sense of the word. So just like, just do it. Never mind, I'm not going to say anything now. I wanted to plus one what Kelvin was saying about writing on the business cards, because that has been such a lifesaver for having the best intentions to connect, but then not having a pin or an anchor to follow through with. But also, and I know for folks that may not know me, I'm a total introvert that presents as an extrovert. I'm channeling Tori right now too, of like the need to recharge and do all sorts of things. And Twitter can be kind of an interesting space if you want to still network, but you're in recharge mode, where you can live tweet sessions and find people that are also having the same ideas as you, perhaps even in the same room. You have this back channel and this connection. And if you're not a Twitter user, just know that I think it was perhaps 2 years ago that I first started using Twitter at, it was OLC Innovate, where I said, I'm gonna really try to focus and do this because I see how it's impacted my colleagues. And it was transformative for me. And Keegan Long-Wheeler did like a data visualization of all of the connections on Twitter. And I got to see all of like the impact and the ripple effect of my tweets and other people's tweets. So if you need help, find a Twitter maven. I don't consider myself a Twitter maven, but you can also find me. We'll ride on It's a Small World. We'll tweet a little bit. We'll meet some new people and do all of that goodness. But yeah, Twitter's a good place. And this conference is a great place to start.
Shoot tweets.
Awesome. Other great pro tips for connecting with other human beings or the artificially intelligent. You know, we have a wide circle here. Anyone?
Talk to people at the networking breaks, you know, where there's food and drink. First of all, it freaks them out a little bit, which is kind of fun. No, I'm kidding. It does. They're like, someone's talking to me. Why is someone talking to me? But if you like start talking about the food and then like, oh, hey, you were at that, you know, institution, or what do you do? Or is this your first conference? Or I tend to like, I tend to stalk people at the food areas and like just talk to people for like 3 or 4 minutes. And sometimes that becomes a larger conversation. And sometimes they're like, yeah, okay, I need to go eat my snack now.
Might as well make good use of the times where people actually gather so that you can talk to another human being. That's a good one. Somebody else, another little pro tip for connecting.
Well, here's a quick one. You might not know that typically the name badges actually have a QR code on them that when you open up your phone to your camera or whatever and you pull up that QR code, you can actually go to that person's like profile. I don't remember exactly where. Yeah, their bank account. You can take out a few dollars here or there. You can log into their Google Pay account. No, but yeah, it takes you to somewhere where you can connect with them. So that's a little tip there. That, you know, that's an easy kind of a networking thing. We were also mentioning the other day, we're talking about all the awesome informal networking that happens in between sessions and in the evenings and so on, and how, you know, we've got these computers in our pockets. Pull out your little hand computer there and actually pull up your calendar and make a date in 2 months even. Go ahead and make a date in your calendar to actually connect with the person in 2 months and have a Zoom meeting or whatever you want to have, whatever kind of WebEx or Zoom or that type of deal. And, it's a great way to just go ahead and make a plan so that you can come back to the talking to people that you met.
No, that's a real good. I like that scheduling thing too. It's not immediately intuitive or obvious, but it's not rocket science. I mean, you just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna schedule it, right? Somebody else who we haven't heard from, just a little tip that you found useful to actually make a connection, and particularly if it allows you to follow up afterwards and do something as a result of that connection.
This is John again. I think a lot of us met each other just hanging out in the TTK. If you get bored, go down to the technology test kitchen and just wander around and look at stuff and say hi to somebody. There's always a lot of great people down there, and I'm sure Maddie will entertain you and introduce you and show you all of the great things that are going on down there.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. We have time for one more, Clark, or we're running kind of.
I think we have time for one more, and then we'll close things off with a little look toward the future.
Anybody got one? Because otherwise, I'll give you one.
Oh, I'll speak up here.
Thank you.
If you hear, I don't think anyone said this, but there's a lot of us on this call who are represent the volunteers of the conference who have dove into programming and leadership roles. And so if you do enter a space, speed networking, field guides, TTK, the idea luncheon, any of those spaces, and you think, hey, wow, these people seem weird and fun, and maybe they're my crowd, or maybe you just want to get involved, actually speaking up and sharing, we're always looking for volunteers. That's how I got involved. I don't know if you saw in the chat, but Angela Gibson was the chair of the test kitchen when I started in OLC. And they were the people who made me feel like the conference was unlike any other. So just hanging out is definitely the thing I'd echo as well, but knowing that can lead not just to networking, but further opportunities within the OLC.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for riding along with us on this top 10 things not to miss at OLC Accelerate 2019. And Clark, take us home.
Oh, first of all, I got to thank you, Kelvin, for an amazing time we had here today. Lots of laughs and lots of insights. And it was just fantastic to have you with us. But I do want to mention that next month on the 26th of October, I guess exactly a month from today, same time, same bat place, actually. We'll have the best in track winners and the track chairs. And there we go. Nice. We got some bat love going on there. We're going to have all most of the best in track winners, if not all, giving a little elevator pitch for their sessions, as well as the track chairs who are going to lead us through a little a visioning session, a little chat about a particular guiding question for the track. And it's going to be incredible. So that's coming up October 26th for our next OLC Live session. And of course, you want to visit the website if you haven't RSVP'd to get on our mailing list. You want to start looking forward to the International Online Summit, which is on the 19th, the Tuesday of the event. And that is the tiny URL, the tiny CC you can use to get to the OLC Live page, so that you can get all signed up and stay in touch for all of the goodness that's coming at you in the near future. Does anybody have any other final words?
Hey, it's Megan Kohler here. I'm happy to jump in. I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who has been working so hard on the conference this year. As Maggie said before, there's a phenomenal team working behind the scenes to pull all of this together for everyone. And along similar lines, please don't hesitate to walk up to any one of us and introduce yourselves, say hi. We love to meet people who are coming to the conference. And likewise, don't be afraid to introduce other people when you're at the conference too. It's those connections that we form at the conference that are one of the things that I feel make it just the place to be, is the community. So let's help continue to foster that sense of community, because this group is amazing.
That is an awesome tip to leave on. And thank you, Megan. Thank you, everyone, for your time today, for your sharing, for being here, for taking part. Anyone who watches the video down the road. We look forward to seeing you all in Orlando or online. And thank you. And Kelvin, let's leave them with some Girl from Ipanema, huh? It's,
That seems like sort of a kind of a real subtle, place to leave it.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Do, 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 do. Yeah, that's enough of that. Hey, thanks, you guys. There's a lot of